then cheese curds were, well, sort of the medieval popcorn. Bite-sized, slightly squeaky, and wildly inconsistent. They weren't flashy. They didn't melt. They didn't stretch. In fact, they barely did anything at all. And that's what made them perfect. Let's be clear, medieval cheese wasn't aiming for Instagram glory. It was made fast, eaten faster, and expected to survive long journeys, questionable storage, and the occasional goat stepping on it. Cheese curds were essentially baby cheese. The early, fresh bits before the wheel hardened into something that could double as a building material. These little clumps of dairy joy were a byproduct of the cheese-making process. Farmers would separate milk into curds and whey using rennet, which sounds fancy until you realize it came from the stomach lining of a baby animal. But hey, it worked. The curds were pressed, lightly salted, and then that was it. Cheese curds. Sometimes they were soft, sometimes rubbery. Sometimes they squeaked on your teeth like they had a personality. But they were filling, portable, and weirdly satisfying. And in a time where snack usually meant old bread or cold broth, curds felt like a win. Monks loved them. Travellers packed them. Kids would eat them like candy, assuming the cows had been cooperative that week. You could fry them, crumble them over stews, or just eat them by the handful while pretending not to smell like the inside of a barn. Unlike many medieval foods, cheese curds didn't require a celebration or feast. They weren't saved for holidays or saints' days. They were just there. Comforting, familiar, mildly chewy. The friend who always shows up, never overperforms, but is weirdly reliable when everything else falls apart. Did they sometimes taste a little off? Sure. Freshness was a spectrum in the Middle Ages. But with enough salt and enthusiasm, most people didn't complain. Besides, in a world without refrigeration, your standards naturally adjust. So no, cheese curds weren't glamorous. But they were simple, hearty, and just indulgent enough to count as a treat. In a pinch, they were also excellent for bribing cats and small children. Turnips are not dessert. Let's just start there. But in the medieval world, where sugar was expensive, apples weren't always in season, and creative desperation was a major food group, someone, somewhere, looked at a turnip and thought, what if this were pie? And so, the turnip pie was born. Now, to be fair, it wasn't